Hello, listeners. This is Kat, and welcome back to Put Your Hands Up Podfix. This will be the continuation of Call Our Crimes a Work of Art. This will be Part 3, Chapters 5 and 6. Chapter 5. Izuku heads to the cafeteria next. He's pretty sure that's where Kirishima will be right now, recruiting the rest of the class or just enjoying lunch. He doesn't care so much as to what Kirishima is doing. What's important is that he's there and he sees Izuku there. He knows one thing. A threat that you can see doing nothing is less terrifying than one you can see doing something. So Izuku lets himself be seen doing homework at his table, being innocuous, innocent. Lets himself be seen as doing nothing. But he is doing something. He's texting Mei a list of things he wants her to work on designs for, and he works on making a list of questions he wants to ask Nezu. He'd read the binder quickly on his way down after talking to Mr. Mike. Now he has the pages carefully tucked into his schoolbook to give it a more detailed read. Introduction. Greetings, Midoriya-kun. Here is your official rules binder for the upcoming assignment. Please make sure to keep this safe, as it is entirely fair for the other team to try and remove it from your possession, both during prep week and during the actual exam. The purpose of this exam is to bring together all you have learned this year in a comprehensive and realistic simulation, a true example of a hero and villain battle. Good to know. He'll have to make a decoy binder. Kirishima wouldn't think to steal his, but one of his teammates might suggest it, and he doesn't want to be caught off guard because he overestimated Kirishima's morals. He, however, will steal the hero binder today and replace it by dinner. He texts Momo his new assignment for her. His team has their missions. Monoma will keep an ear to the ground and 1B for possible recruits with his own notes on each one. Then give the list to Izuku, who would curate it before passing it on to Momo, who would be better at the recruitment part. Izuku had only gotten the people he has because he knew he needed them, and he knew how to get a yes. But he doesn't know 1B well, and they don't know him. But they do know Monoma and Momo. The realistic simulation has him thinking, how realistic are they talking? He returns to his reading. Participants. Normally, this exam is given to third years only, but I felt that this year it would be beneficial to perform it with the first years. Izuku writes down a notation. He had already caught the fact that this was open to all departments already, but he had not thought about recruiting second or third years. So that will be his first question for the rat. There are 3 designations, hero, villain, and civilian. There are 2 roles on the hero side, and those are the leader and the recruits. The same can be said for the villain team. There are also 2 types of civilians, L-level civilians and R-level civilians. 2 types of civilians? Why would they do that? The main difference between the 2 is that with R-level civilians you are allowed to do anything to them. The L-level cannot be physically nor psychologically harmed. Psychologically harmed? Oh. Izuku smiles. He thinks he has the answer to one question already. Survival. Each day of the exam constitutes 1 month in real life, aside from prison sentences, in which case 1 hour constitutes a year. You will be given 1 hour with lunch rush to secure provisions the day before the exam. Any other needs must be acquired during the exam. Legality of methods is of course up to you. Should the hero team need medical assistance, they will call in a hero with a recovery quirk. Villains will be on their own. That either means they will call on Recovery Girl, or someone who works with her. He'll ask Mr. Aizawa and Mr. Mike if they know anyone with a healing quirk. If not, he has a plan to help themselves to one. He also makes a point to schedule first aid training for all his team with Recovery Girl, and perhaps some gun training. Mr. Aizawa and Mike can help them handle transportation. Most of them have learner's permits anyway. God, he's going to have to start making a list of things to take care of, too. On top of throwing some false leads out there. All before meeting with his team after class. Fuck. He sighs and goes back to reading. What would constitute lethal injuries or illnesses will cause a student to be removed by any faculty, most likely ones on their team or observing should a team fail to recruit faculty. That won't be a problem. He already has 2, and he knows Mr. Aizawa would likely lean towards overcaution unless they have a healing quirk on their side, and even then would likely be overcautious with them. He'll have to train that out of the man before the match. They're going to be horribly outnumbered. They'll have to take risks. Location. The assignment will be held in Gym Zeta, and will constitute a true replica of a modern city. The hero team will be given an agency within the city. The villain team can arrange a date to select a base. How exact a replica? Is it based on a real city? If so, he can look up the maps for that one. Maybe someone on his team knows. If not, perhaps he could find out from someone else. Oh. He just got a fun idea. one he'll have to drop in conversation with Nezu. He knows he can't manipulate, a master manipulator, but his idea might be creative enough that Nezu will implement it either way. After all, he promises a realistic city. Villain loss conditions. The villain team will be considered to have lost should one or more of the following occur. 1. All villain team members are captured or killed. 2. All villain team members are arrested and imprisoned. 3. The leader is killed or captured for more than 12 hours or sentenced to a prison sentence that is more than the remaining hours left to the assignment. 4. Condition 3 is mitigated should the leader appoint a competent second-in-command. However, points will be docked if the assignment ends with the leader dead, imprisoned, or captured. The second-in-command cannot be a faculty member. Please see number 5 in Role of Faculty. 5. Villain team fails to meet their win conditions. 6. Villain team escapes the city more than 10 minutes before the end of the assignment. Villain win conditions. The villain team will be considered to have won should one or more of the following occur. 1. The villain team amasses a total of 50 objective points by the end of the assignment. See Villainous Objectives. 2. The entire hero team have been removed from play. 3. The villain team amasses 30 objective points and successfully escapes the city without capture 10 minutes or less before the end of the assignment. Villainous Objectives. There are 3 types of objectives for the villain team: major objectives, minor objectives, and miscellaneous objectives. Each objective has a pre-assigned number of points. Major objectives. Commit a murder, 5 points. Plant a bomb, 5 points. Rob a bank, 3 points. Kill a public official, 4 points. Bribe a public official, 5 points. Steal classified government documents, 10 points. Sell an illegal firearm, 5 points. Commit a murder for hire, 10 points. Does not satisfy any other objective. Commit a biological agent attack, 10 points. Minor objectives. Pickpocket someone, 1 point. Take a civilian hostage, 1 point. Poison someone, 1 point. Commit arson, 1 point. Vandalize a government building, 1 point. Perform a crime for hire, 1 point. This crime cannot be used to satisfy any other objective. Hack a company server, 3 points. Kidnap a civilian, 1 point. Hold a building hostage, 1 point. Miscellaneous objectives. Kill the head of the hero team, 30 points. Kill the hero's second-in-command, 20 points. Please note that completion of number 1 is a prerequisite for this one. Kill a hero, 10 points. For these purposes, performance of this one does not satisfy number 1 in major objectives. Bribe a hero, 10 points. End a hero's career, 12 points. Cause a scandal, 15 points. Break into hero HQ, 20 points. Amass 5 favors, 15 points. Recruit a spy, 10 points. Capture a hero, 8 points. Make a rousing villain speech, 10 points. Purchase information, 5 points. Destroy hero HQ, 10 points. Note: extra points may be awarded should the observers feel an act is particularly genius or inventive. The objectives can be completed by any member of the team. Delegation of tasks is encouraged. A loss in the assignment does not automatically mean a failing grade. Objective points are calculated into student final grades, and I encourage you to achieve as many as you can. Uzuka makes a note next to everything. Theories of certain acts and what some of the tasks could mean. What some of his strategies should be. How to best avoid loss. He feels kind of bad. It's going to be horrible for the hero team. A lot of these things are going to be easy for him to get, as they were already part of his plans. It almost feels unfair. No. It's life, plain and simple. Just what this is supposed to simulate. Role of faculty. While this is primarily an exercise for students, faculty are an invaluable asset for victory. However, there are rules they must follow. They cannot give any information acquired by nature of being teachers. However, should you delegate them to investigating something, that is allowed. Faculty may not help in the preparation for the assignment. However, that does not extend to their nature as instructors. Okay, gun training is a go. So might be some of his other plans. They can't help by giving them things outside of their knowledge, it seems. They may not interfere with the leadership of the teams unless they fear for the health or safety of a student. It is completely acceptable for the leader or someone with authority granted to them by the leader to delegate jobs or missions to faculty. While this means they are considered full members of the team, they are not allowed to be selected as a second-in-command. While a teacher can be delegated to recruitment, they cannot use their status to recruit students. This includes offering extra credit, extensions, a homework pass, or any such thing, and they may not leverage a student's grade for recruitment. Several staff members, myself, All Might, Snipe, and Ectoplasm, have requested not to be recruited. You may still try, of course, but it would be a waste of time. Recovery Girl, due to the scarcity of healing heroes, is also not able to be recruited, to add to the realism. Izuku nods. This is what he expected. Actually, it's a bit looser than he considered it would be. Preparation. Students will be granted a period of 1 week to prepare for this assignment. 5 of those days will be over a school week, in-school prep time. You are encouraged to use the UA facilities available to you. The first 3 days of in-school prep time will be open enrollment. The last 2 will be for voluntary enrollment, after which the teams will be set. Recruitment. Any method for recruitment that have not already been banned are allowed. A participant can only be registered for 1 team. Conduct within the preparation period. While you are not allowed to attack current members of a team or possible members outside of the simulation, other methods may be employed to prevent recruitment. Interference with team preparation is encouraged during this time so long as no physical harm is employed. Members of each team must have at least 1 meeting with Hound Dog before the simulation and at least 1 after. Failure to comply will cause you to be removed from the assignment before it starts, or should the failure occur after the assignment, personal detention shall be enforced. Please note, if a student already has a therapist they would prefer to meet with instead of Hound Dog, they shall give the therapist information to Hound Dog so the preferred therapist can better prepare you as Hound Dog would. Closing remarks. Am I a dog? A bear? What matters is I am the principal, and I encourage you to do your best on this assignment. I am sure you will not disappoint. Should you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. Izuku feels so tired after reading through the binder. This was a lot of information. Ugh. His head is spinning with ideas, questions, and plans. He sighs and flips to a clean page to order his thoughts. Questions for Nezu. 1. What counts as a biological attack? 2. Is it just first years? 3. How real are we talking? 4. What sort of weapons can they use? 5. Arrests in prison. Prep stuff. 1. Gun lessons from Snipe. 2. Villain speech? Ask All Might. 3. Makeup lessons from Midnight. 4. Public speaking from the same. 5. First aid lessons. 6. Look for healing quirks. 7. List of skills and hobbies and talents of team. 8. Training schedule. 9. Possible recruits. 10. Talk to May. Strategy. 1. Second in command. 2. Replace hero binder. 3. Drop mention of my idea. 4. Be caught trying to recruit teachers. 5. Talk to Lunch Rush and Power Loader. 6. Fake villain binder. 7. Group chat. Satisfied with his list, he heads to class when the bell rings. Chapter 6. Shoto won't admit it, but he's actually a little scared when he sees his team leader zoom out of the classroom at the end of the day. He had somehow convinced Hizashi to add him to the group chat used to plan their stuff. Since Hizashi gives his number in the syllabus and Shoto would rather die than do that, the blonde was the only one Midoriya could ask. But anyway, the green-haired kid had created a group chat with code names and everything, and had told them to meet after school in 1 hour in one of the support labs, which honestly made Shoto more worried than he had been. There's only one person Midoriya would go there for. Another problem child who he thought he was safe from. At least now he has a pretty good idea who Artificer is in the chat. Hizashi's was obvious. No one else would be a bard. Well, he would have thought Shinso, but apparently his protege is a paladin? He's not going to ask. He hasn't guessed who Conjuration is, nor Genasi. He is also a little confused about Mimic, but he's also kind of surprised he ended up with Monk. He'd have to ask Midoriya, or Rogue, about it later. Who knew kids still played D&D? Oboro had loved it. He shakes off the melancholy edging into his head when he sees Kirishima and Mina approaching him. He can see the logic. Kirishima, frankly, is one of the few students who hasn't managed to completely annoy him, while Mina is excellent at gathering information, usually gossip, and thus knowing the best thing to offer, or convince. Midoriya had already given him and Hizashi orders not to let anyone know that they had been recruited, and to make it seem like they weren't available to be. A smart decision. As long as they think they can't be recruited, then they won't make contingency plans for teachers they know they won't run into, and if they don't think Midoriya has recruited teachers yet, they'll underestimate him. That had been one of Oboro's failings. Everyone knew who he had recruited immediately. He wasn't exactly subtle, and even aliens would know Shota would go with him. Mr. Aizawa, we were hoping we might ask you something. Shota turns his attention back to his students. When they see they have his attention, Kirishima continues. We were hoping you would join the hero team. His pitch leaves a bit to be desired. Unfortunately, he will not be helping the students on the opposite team. Yeah, we have a perfect plan. You and Mr. Cementos together will be an excellent team-up. He can block them in with you up high, erasing their quirks, and Bakugo can knock the villain team out, Mina says. Shota very much wants to sigh. That is one of their weaknesses. They don't know how to keep information to themselves. He loses the battle and finally sighs. As sound of a plan that might be, I unfortunately have a mission that night, so I will be unable to join you. He's careful, to be honest. He does have a mission that first night. Midoriya gave it to them all already. Man, that's unmanly. I don't mean you are, sir, just that your inability to join us is unmanly. I knew what you meant, Kirishima. Now I suggest you both get to work. This assignment will not be easy, and both of you still haven't submitted your public relations essays. Right. We're going to put the finishing touches on them tonight so we can focus on the simulation. Shota watches the kids rush out the door and pulls out his phone. Was approached by Strawberry and Cherry. Library is the one they're either trying to or have already recruited. If they're smart, I know who they'll go to after some time to strategize. Rogue, get items 3 and 4 from Perfume as soon as possible. He put his phone away and made his way to the teacher's lounge. Monk, is there any way you know of that could keep Perfume out of the running? Shota considers this. I might. Let me look into it. I'm giving you full authority to implement a plan to take her out. He pinches the bridge of his nose. Ugh, is he really about to do this? Yes. Shota types up a message to Bane of My Existence. Do you still want her number? Yes, OMG, there's a super cool art exhibit I think she'd enjoy. Not my thing, but I want to impress her. The one that you were given those tickets to by the mayor for a press opportunity? Yeah, for opening night. That's night 1 of the assignment. Perfect. Here's her number. Sweet! You can tell me why the sudden change of mind on patrol tonight. They put us together. I just volunteered. Shota sighs and turns his phone over. That's enough social interaction for one day. He'll tell Midoriya in person. There's only half an hour anyway. He wonders if all this is a waste of time. There's literally 8 of them. Can 8 people really beat what's going to end up being a larger number of heroes? Then again, the League of Villains has been doing pretty well with roughly the same number of people. But they are hardened criminals with extremely strong quirks. There's roughly only 3 strong quirks on their team, with his to even the playing field, which is fine when you have better odds, but much harder when you're so thoroughly outnumbered. There's no hope. He'd learned that the hard way a few months ago. God, what is wrong with him? Quirks are tools, and yes, the other team has stronger tools, but they are still human and can be beaten, with strategy and preparedness. And he's pretty sure Midoriya has that covered. When it's time, he takes an extra long way to the support labs, looking at the faces. Todoroki is looking over something with Hisashi, maybe English homework. Momo and Mei are in a corner discussing plans and guns. He feels true fear then. Shinzo waves from his napping spot in the corner. How the hell did Midoriya recruit Monoma from 1B? He shakes his head dumbly for a moment before taking a seat. Midoriya is facing a whiteboard, wiping makeup off his face. All right, let's get started with meeting number 1, Midoriya says. Shota suddenly feels like he shouldn't even try to guess what to expect next anymore. All right, listeners, this concludes Chapter 6 of Call Our Crimes a Work of Art. Chapter 7 will be up next. I'm eager to hear your thoughts and reactions to everything so far. And as always, thank you all so much for listening.